recently received a VHS tape with highly disturbing footage. The tape shows rock stars playing their worst tracks, which will be releasing to the public for the first time. Now, what I'm about to show you may get Jimmy Page, Angus Young, and Slash kicked out of the Hall of Fame. This is Shred, and today I'll be breaking down the horrible B-sides of famous guitarists. ACDC's Heaven's Bells, Led Zeppelin's Stairway to Hell, and Guns N' Roses' Sour Child of Mine. Using music theory, we'll analyze the scale, chords, and modes behind these embarrassing songs. Sell your soul to me for unlimited musical power at my Patreon page below. You get all my tabs, courses, Discord access, and even live classes. Did I mention it just costs your soul? In the year 1980, ACDC was recording the iconic Back in Black record. Nursing a particularly harsh hangover, Angus Young began playing a strange riff he called Heaven's Bells. Drummer Phil Rudd chimed in, lightly tapping the cymbals as if summoning a cherubim. Malcolm Young muttered, "Bloody hell, we're gonna lose every fan we've got." Here's what it sounded like. Now, it's fun to joke about these B-sides being famous guitarists' worst fails, but this is actually a really cool concept for songwriting. So I want to show you what's going on. So if we look at the original Hell's Bells, right? Here's how it looks in tablature format. It's in the key of A minor. Have a listen. Now, this is a cool riff, and one of the main reasons is because of the pedal tone. If you've ever taken one of my composition classes, this is the #1 most important thing that makes your song sound good, is having a reference to the root. And it's so simple that a lot of beginners overlook it. So this riff relies heavily on this atonal bass. And then it has these arpeggios moving around up top, basically power chords. You got the A power chord, that's going to be a D sound, that's going to be a C sound all over A, and that's really what gives us the tonality, basically. But here's the thing, we can flip this on its head and we can take Hell's Bells and turn it into Heaven's Bells. And step one is to understand the tonal language we're dealing with. So like I said, the original here is in the A minor scale roughly. It doesn't ever really hit that flat 6th scale degree right there, the F, which stands for fudge tastes good, right? Everybody knows that, I think, by now. So there's the A minor scale, but what we're going to do is change it to the Lydian scale, and the Lydian scale is major, but it has this almost like celestial majesty sort of quality to it. So the Lydian scale, I'll tell you what, let's make the major scale first, right? A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, and G sharp. Now to make that Lydian, what you do is you raise the 4th degree. So that's the key tendency tone. I'm just going to finish off by playing the root there in the octave. Now, the most important thing to understand when you're trying to communicate or convey a particular mode is the chord progression, not the scale. The chord progression contains a lot more data that gives us a particular emotion or vibe or sound. When it's just common sense if you think about it. When you're just playing one note at a time, you can only catch so much of a vibe. But when you play chords, whoa, that's like a feeling right there, right? So it gives you a lot more sonic information to go off of. So the first chord in A Lydian is A. Surprise, surprise. And here's where the money maker comes in. Always keep it voiced over an open A pedal tone or the root. And then we're going to play a B major chord on top. And that is the sound of the Lydian mode. So I'm going to label that B. So if you play these two chords back to back, you you get a Lydian sound. And this is something that you might recognize from film scores and movies and whatnot. So check this out. What I'm going to do actually here is copy and paste this Hell's Bells riff. Actually, you know, we could just do it on this top line here. So I'm going to change this riff now to Lydian. And how do we do that? This is almost like a science experiment, right? Well, what we have to do is work the key signature in, which is 4 sharps. So if I see anything that violates that, we have to raise it. For example, this D natural, they ain't gonna fly, right? Because we need a D sharp. So I'm gonna raise that. What else? And actually, we want to be thinking about working the chord progression in. So I'm going to change this to a B so that we get like a B major sound right there. The D sharp and B can outline B major. So B major spelled B, D sharp, and F sharp. Now that C is not going to work, right? Because that violates the key signature of E, which is 4 sharps. So we're going to raise that. We're also going to need to, this G note's not going to work, right? So let's take that up to an A. This gives us an A sound. So what we've done here is created a B to an A sound, or an A to a B, which is exactly what we want. Whoops, now we got to raise that up again, right? Okay, get that B chord in, and that pretty much will do it. So this may seem like rocket science. It's not that hard. You just have to, again, you have to make an emotional connection with the sound. And if you can hear this, then you can work that out in a riff. And we could literally take this riff, Hell's Bells, and turn it into all 7 modes, right? Locrian and Aeolian and Phrygian and Dorian, just by making these subtle shifts in the tendency tones, or the tones that characterize the specific emotional quality of each mode. Now, just for fun, I want to show you a Lydian lick. And the goal here is to work in that chord progression through a sweep picking passage. I'm going to call these the celestial sweeps. One hot summer day in 1986, Guns N' Roses were hard at work recording Appetite for Destruction. Now, legend has it, Slash just couldn't seem to find the right notes for Sweet Child of Mine. As the painful tones drifted through the studio, Axl bellowed, "What the hell you playing, bro?" "I'm just trying to see where this takes us, man," said Slash. Here's what he was actually playing that day. Now, this is a really fun one. Sweet Child of Mine versus Sour Child of Mine. So the original sounds like this. A little bit slow on the tempo there, but you get the idea. And we're in the key of D Mixolydian here, basically. So D Mixolydian sounds like this. Has that flat 7th degree, and it's really the official mode of classic rock. Almost all classic rock songs use this scale. Sounds like this. It's a major scale, so you got the major 3rd right there, and then something happens that's really interesting. You have a flat 7th degree C, and this is what makes the mode sound so magical. Actually, the C is right here. And then we're back to the root D. The underlying emotional tone of this mode is let's party and have a good time. Now what we're gonna do is turn this sound on its head though, and I wanna create almost like a Dracula vibe with Sour Child O' Mine. And to do that, what we're gonna do is play the D Dorian sharp 4 mode. This is it's like the 4th mode of the harmonic minor scale. So if you thought about, you're really playing an A harmonic minor, just starting on the 4th degree. And it's a beautiful, beautiful, haunting mode. gives me a taste for blood. So check it out. You got the root, and then you have the second, you got the minor third, F, then the characteristic tone here that separates it from regular Dorian. Actually, what we might do is just rep out the Dorian mode real quick so we can see the difference. The Dorian mode is a beautiful sound that has elements of dark and light. It's like rain on a sunny day. And what we're going to do to make it sharp 4 is take the 4th degree, 1, 2, 3, 4, and raise that. And this gives us the most chilling, beautiful, majestically haunting sound. I just imagine Dracula in the Carpathian Mountains, you know, like sipping on a glass of blood wine in front of his enormous fireplace. Maybe he's burning the corpses of his victims. So check it out. You got D minor as the 1 chord. This is the more important part of modes is the chord progression. If you don't learn the chord progression, then you don't really understand the sound of the mode. You're just not going to be able to bring it out. So D minor is the 1 chord. Now here's where things get really cool. I'm going to bring in an E major chord. Whoa, dude. So check this out. We're going to put an E. Okay, so you basically have just an absolutely beautiful progression. You keep that going up the neck if you wanted. Whoops. So you have that minor dark sound going up to a major sound. It's like the Lydian mode, except the first chord is minor. So what we're going to do to make Sweet Child of Mine, Sour Child of Mine is reflect these tendency tones. So we're starting on D here, right? D, that's all good. But now we need a sharp 4th degree. So we'll raise that G sharp. And then this also needs to be raised to a G sharp. Okay, I think, let's see. Okay, this one's got to be a flat 3rd. And there, that should cover it. Good. So if we just repeated that bar over, because every bar repeats, then we're going to get it. And then all you're doing is just basically taking that original pattern and you just move up 1 whole step, right? That's how the lick goes. So if you just did a 14th fret instead of 12, and then all the other notes stay the same, you're going to have your Dorian sharp 4 pattern. So that should sound right. Man, that is cool. Now I want to show you a vampire lick using the Dorian sharp 4 mode. And another name for this scale is the Romanian minor scale. Now Dracula being from Romania is very fitting, right? So check out this lick. So I've got that 1 chord D minor. I'm doing like a little hybrid picking idea here. The open A and then plucking the open D string and then hammering on a D minor arpeggio. Going up to the first inversion of that arpeggio. Coming down to an E major over G sharp. And then back to your root D. It all began when Jimmy Page reversed his original recording of Stairway to Heaven. Robert Plant looked up from scribbling lyrics and said, "What the devil is that, Jimmy?" "I know, right?" said Jimmy. Now, after conducting a seance and crushing 69 beers, Page was finally ready to track the new cut. I think you're going to be terrified at the result. Now here it is, one of the greatest songs ever written, Stairway to Heaven. It looks like this in tablature, and let me just play a little bit. There it is is it, like double time? But the chord progression is very interesting. You have an A minor arpeggio being outlined right here. And this is crazy. It's A minor major 7 over G sharp right there. Wow. Then we're moving to a C chord over G. So, you know, these chords are actually kind of adventurous, but still, you know, they work within sort of conventional songwriting. So what I did to make it Stairway to Hell was I used a concept known as chromatic mediance. And this is something that you'll hear in film scores. It's basically when you play minor or major chords a third apart. So you get these kind of creepy sounds like that. So I kept the first part the same. But then we go up to an F minor right here. Right? So that really bends the ear in a dissonant, demented direction. From there, I move chromatically up a half step, up to F sharp minor. So what makes this so cringingly dissonant is that these chords don't belong in any one key together, right? So then I go to a F minor major 7 chord. That's actually quite a delicious sound. And then we end it all off with this really 5-1 cadence. So there's some sort of sense of release and resolution. We've got this E major chord over A, and then a beautiful A minor 9 chord from the pit of hell. Now I thought it'd be fun to show you a chromatic mediant lick using finger tapping. Now the idea here is to take an A minor arpeggio, root, second, third, tap the fifth, and then you go up an octave, same pattern. Now we go up to C minor, exact same pattern. Root, second, third, fifth, up an octave. Then we're back down to the A minor, and then down to F sharp minor. So each one of those notes are a minor third apart. A to C, back down to A, and then down to F sharp. If you're in my modern guitar mastery class, your homework is going to be to write 30 to 60 seconds of music by changing the mode of one of the 3 songs in this video. I want this to be your own creative arrangement, and if you like, you could even modify the style. For example, you might do, Heaven's Bells with a bossa nova feel. God forbid. I don't think Angus Young will be pleased with you, but I will. Until next time, shred till you're dead.